Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Aero Sim Racing Club studio. My name is DJ, and this is a Gentleman Driver's Journey. This is episode 2 of LeMans Ultimate. If you watched episode 1, we got the LeMans Ultimate Sim set up. We got our buttons mapped to our wheel, our pedals calibrated. We tested a few cars, worked on our overall field of view, and just generally got ourselves familiar with the user interface and the overall feedback that the sim was giving us. Today, we are going to go back in. I've done a little bit of offline research, and we're going to refine our settings a little bit. And we're going to spend some time in the GT3 cars just testing them out, trying the different options that we have and see how we like them and get on. So it's just another day of testing. Same thing that we do every time that we jump into a new sim, just to familiarize ourselves with it. And hopefully, by the end of today, we'll have all of our settings, our buttons in a good place, and maybe we can get into some racing the next time we hit the sim. But for now, let's jump in. I'll talk through some of the things I've learned in terms of settings. We'll make some adjustments, and then we'll hit the track. All right, so we're in the sim. I've got it loaded up here. We're going to go straight to settings. If you watched episode 1, we fumbled through these, just like doing anything new. If you're looking to get into it, go check out episode 1 if you haven't yet. But today we're going to refine a few things, try to make it a little bit better for us, and make it a little bit more enjoyable, hopefully. Okay, so I want to go into controls first off. Where we at? I'm going to go to keyboard. And I need to be in. Is it for cameras? Let's see here. Free lenses. It is not. Maybe it's in gameplay. Nope. Maybe it's just in. I'm looking for the triple screen setup button. Maybe it's under calibrate. Nope. Okay, interaction. Toggle HUD, mirror. There we go, triples and... Alright, it's already set up. It's under equals. So perfect. So when we get into the gameplay, I can hit the equal button and we will get the triple screen set up so we can make some adjustments for that. So, boom. That one is done there. Let's go to camera. Actually, it might be under... Wait, these are just controls. Where is... Alright. FOV. For our FOV, I use a calculator. I think it's the same one you use for R Factor 2. It's on the... I don't remember the website now. It's just type in sim racing FOV calculator. It should be the first one that pops up. It'll tell you for every sim that's available, basically. But basic information, I have 27-inch screens. They're 1,000R curve, triples. I forget the exact angle that they're sitting at. They're 1440, and From my eyes to the center of the screen is 28 inches or 71.12 centimeters. So when I put that info in there, it shot back out that I needed an FOV of 29. So I was running at 38, so we gotta go down 2. So we'll go ahead and turn that down and see how we like that. Okay, the other thing I wanted to do while I was in here is turn down let's see, special effects, shadows. I was going to turn down road reflection, environmental reflections, those for now. Texture details, fine. Opponent detail, high. And hopefully that will help a little bit with our FOV or our FPS. Refresh rate. Are we at one? We should be at 165, I think. Let's see, vertical sync off, post effects low. Okay, everybody else had this on, and they had it on MSA 4X. We need multi-view. Okay, we're gonna apply those. See what happens. There was another one. Where was it? Special effects, visuals. Oh, here we go. Live TV displays. Everyone just had to turn that off. Vehicles at 12. Okay. So that should improve some of our graphics, sound. Didn't really get a good answer to this. It's all, the onboard volume's all in one, so you just get everything up or down, which is not great. We'll leave it at that. Okay, controls. Where's wheel? Okay. So I did learn what. Where we at? Car controls. The difference was between brake bias and brake migration. So let me just double check my wheel map to make sure I like where those go. Alright, so brake bias is what it's always been in every game. Shifting the weight from the front to the back or the back to the front on the fly. Okay. Oh, I don't like... Okay. Okay. I'm gonna remap a couple of buttons here. So I have currently brake migration is set to my top right rotary encoder. I'm going to change that to the regen, the increment regen and decrement regen. Because that'll make more sense there. And then I'm going to change to the lower right thumb dial for brake migration. That way, both the brake options are on a thumb wheel, um, which I think makes more sense for me. Not that I'm going to use these really at the moment, but okay. Now let's just set up. So brake bias is moving the amount of brake from either back to front or front to back to help balance the car and have good stability under braking, but also enough rotation. So my understanding is that the migration helps under heavy braking to further balance, to make a on the fly adjustment based on the amount of brake pressure you have, to keep either the front or the rear wheels from locking up. And then it's controlled by how much brake pressure you put um, on going into the braking zone and into the turn. So interesting. Never used it before, but I think it's going to be better on a thumb rotary encoder. That makes more sense there. Okay, let's go into. So I think that's all of those changes. Where we are calibrate. We get into force feedback here. Let me just make sure I didn't change these. Oh, before I get there, do we got have maybe it's under force feedback. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, never mind. Jumping ahead of myself here. We have effects, invert, because that's gonna stay the same. Okay, everybody said to keep this at 100. So what's really interesting, so as we drove it the first time, we, I just talked about the overall general feelings. I've not had a ton of time in different setups or in different sims, um, but I was just giving my initial feedback on it, and surprising to me, I was very similar in what I was feeling as some of the other YouTubers that I watched, and the differences between the cars. So, like the Emblem P2 felt very heavy, a lot of feedback coming through the wheel, almost too much, and that's how they felt. And then hypercars were super light, and then uh, GT3s were kind of in the middle a little bit. So it was good to know that I was feeling the differences similar to everyone else. So now, kind of understand how the sim works from that standpoint, and we'll refine it from there. So, most people said to keep it because that was the most realistic. Um, I did think that there was too much, almost like road feedback. So I'm gonna try one smoothing just to see if we can kind of knock that down just a little bit, um, and see how that goes. Everyone did say to get rid of collision strength and take it down to 100% because you don't need it. Um, and if you just saw there, when I clicked, it went down 10 instead of 1. Fun little fact, if you right click with your mouse on an arrow, it will go down by increments of 10. So, super, super handy. That is really nice. Okay. So we're going to try these settings again and see what happens. Now we've adjusted our field of view. We'll have to adjust our seat position in the car and see if we can't get something that looks a little bit more realistic. That should be it from a settings standpoint. Let me just check my notes. Yep. Okay, so now we can get to a practice here. We'll open up the triple settings and see if we can get get everything kind of ironed out. Let's see. We're gonna just stick with spa. We know it. I can get around all right here. Okay, let's just head out. We're just gonna take what we got. We're just gonna head out. I'm gonna toggle the triple screens and we'll get that set up. Alright, so we've got our FOV now set up here. Oh my. I don't know what I just did. That was a lot. Whatever I just did. Alright, that's about as high as it'll go. Alright, well, I guess that's what our FOV is going to be. Actually, I'm just going to leave it here because I have I have a really good view of a fence line over here to work on. Is it going to work? Do I have to turn the HUD on? Okay, well, apparently this key doesn't work. Settings. It's really laggy again. So everybody on YouTube that tried to use this said that it was super laggy in general. So this is just a game problem. Okay, where? Is there gameplay? I've already forgotten where it is. Oh, it's so laggy. Why? Why are you doing this? It'll be really nice when all of this is set up so I don't have to come back in here, and hopefully we can get into things more quickly. Oh, there it was. I saw it. Where'd it go? I get too impatient. Okay, maybe if we try to exit and reload triples. Did it work? Oh, let's see. Oh, cancel. That one's in use. It's gonna take me 20 minutes just to get this set. Did you do it? Okay, well, I reset it. Let's see if we go back out, if it will do anything. Well, maybe I. Okay. Well, it might not work if I'm in the garage. Let's try and drive out. Other fun fact that I learned, if you hit 3, it toggles all your mirrors on the car, in the car, and the digital ones. So I just turned everything off, and then if it has 3 settings, it has everything off, only the mirrors on and in the car, and then your digital mirror. So I want to turn the digital mirror off, turn the HUD off. Okay, let's drive out and then and see if I get. For some reason, maybe I can't use keyboard keys to do things. If I have a wheel set up, I feel like it doesn't want to work. Okay. Let's go to settings. I'll put it on a random button for now. Let's see, which ones do we have available? Oh, I'm gonna set it to, okay. I'm just gonna set it here for now. Let's see if that works. Do I have to have the HUD on? No? Alright, well. Drive out on the track and see if it changes at all. The other thing from the last time that I had all my wheel lights messed up, because they were set to the default settings. I've gotten that fixed now. Okay, if I hit. Alright, well, triple calibration doesn't seem to be working. I don't know why. So I guess we'll skip that for now. So we've done all of our setup stuff. We've sort of got this in a good place. I've done some overall some view changes. Our FOV is right. Our seating position is okay. Without the pitch, it's going to be the best that it can be right now. So I guess we'll just drive and test out these GT3 cars. I'm in the Aston right now, so we'll just do some laps. I have no idea how to change settings or setups. I don't know what setups on this. We'll just use what we got. See what kind of lap times we can get. So we should be in for me, probably like the mid 220s or yeah, something like that. 220s, low 20s. I do know that because of the tire model from driving last time, you have to be much more careful about locking up. The steering is, I have it back up to 100% force. It is quite heavy. Getting good road texture though. I think the smoothing is helping out. I will say that this updated, or this Aston GT3 seems to be much better than the one that's in ACC. I do get good curb feel. I feel very connected to the road. I just wish there were some different volume settings because it just sounds like there's so many small rocks and pebbles that like I don't think I would ever hear at these RPMs with this motor. I mean, it definitely feels like I'm driving a race car. Much more so than ACC. A little quick on the downshift there, so got a little chirp. Still not really pushing too hard. I'll have to go and find out. I like having some of the HUD information up. So I'll have to see if I can selectively have certain things up and on, or if it's all on or all off. I have a ton of grip right now. I feel like I have way more grip than I've ever had in ACC. shifted really heavy there. I went track limits. Good volume. There's just a little scrape of the tire across the surface there, but I could hear it like very clearly. Traction control was really kicked in there.
Lap 2:25.40.
Had really nice feedback. As soon as you lock it up, the force feedback drops to 0. And you can tell like right away that you've lost it. Might have picked up a little bit of vibration. And by might, I mean I definitely picked up a small vibration from that lockup because I can feel it in the wheel. Lines are not great through here, but that's okay. I would say having, what I drove the Ferrari, I think, to test it, but I was so focused on so many other things. I don't have a very good, oops, totally thought I was at the next corner. I didn't get a good sense of it, but this Ascent drives really nicely. Feels very balanced. Even on this setup, I don't know what setup it is. I don't feel like it understeers too much or oversteers too much, but also, you know, I'm struggling a little bit. Just getting used to the braking, not overly pushing it. We'll do one more lap here.
That time was a 2:29.62.
Might be getting track limits in turn 1. They're always coming up red. Got my lap times on the lovely dash. Oop. Quick on the downshift, a little bit too much brake pressure. I do feel like this game does an extremely good job of like the tire models and the brakes. Does not like just smash it and ride it out on the ABS. Feel like I could really work on the brake balance and figure out how to really push and get a little bit more rotation out of the car. Almost lost the rear end there. Cost us a little bit.
That time was a 2:25.78.
Okay, overall, Aston Martin, pretty good car. Nice and enjoyable, very well balanced. Didn't have too much getting into it. Um, I got, right down to my abilities pretty quickly, which is right there in the mid 220s. I think I can go a little bit lower, a little bit faster. In general, with a little bit more time in this sim, but I would just be getting used to it. So that was a nice car. I do want to try. I know I'm gonna jump cars here, but I do think I want to bring the force feedback down just a smidgen. See how this goes. Alright, we're gonna stick at Spa. Let's see. We've got the Corvette. Hopefully this has an awesome sound to it. I've always been a fan of Corvettes on the racetrack. I'm not a very big fan of them as road cars, but there's just too many of them, really. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off WC overlays. I'm gonna put the standard overlays back on. Alright, once again, I have no idea what the where we at? Can I see a little bit through there? much different sound than I thought it was going to have. Very different sound than I thought. I was going to have a nice throaty sound. It actually sounds much more high pitched, kind of like it's almost got more of a Ferrari sound to it. I don't think they sound like that on the track, but let's get our tires warmed up. This steering feels much lighter at 95%. I wonder if we need to turn it back up just to see. Might be a car-to-car thing. Maybe I need something in between. I feel like I've lost more than 5% of the feedback through the wheel. Okay, maybe it's just at like low speeds. When you get in these higher speeds, the weight of the wheel really picks back up. Just backed it way down through there to make sure I made it through safe. Did not like that downshift. Too high in the rev range. I think the car has definitely got a different gear ratio. I feel like much longer. Third gear is a little bit more usable. Really doesn't like downshifting into second. Might have to keep it in third. Do a lot of these turns. I imagine that at speed, the final chicane and turn one will also probably like to stay in second gear, not first. Or just grab first halfway between. Not the most ideal thing.
Lap 2:27.98.
Ooh, did not like that at all. Alright, so maybe 95% is okay on the weight as you really load it up through the high speed turns. I'm getting enough of the feedback. Definitely don't feel as comfortable with this car. Clearly for my braking style, it's way too unbalanced in the brake bias. Just locking it up way too easy. I'm not going to be changing any of those settings at this stage, just testing it how it is. Definitely feels a bit more understeery. It feels like a bigger, heavier car. I used less brake pressure for a longer period,
That time was a 2:27.63.
which was nice. Downshifting was much better. Did not like that. Really doesn't like downshifting in high RPMs. Or like down into a higher RPM. not quite as fast as the Aston Martin. About 2 seconds actually. Definitely would take a lot more driving to just get used to it. The overall dynamics of it, maybe a little bit of settings changes.
That time was a 2:24.60.
Okay. Well, there we go. Right at the end there, pulled out a time faster than the Aston Martin, even with the lockup in there, and I think a little bit of vibration from a little flat spot from that lockup. So overall, I think I could get used to that car. It definitely sounds more like a Ferrari than a Corvette to me. I was expecting to have that nice, throaty, deep V8 sound. But it was definitely a high pitched Ferrari V8. So interesting. Was not expecting that. Overall, driving okay. I would probably take the Aston over the Vet, but um, yeah. All right, let's see. What do we get into next? All right, the Ferrari is next. All right. All right. Well, it looks like we're not getting a right side mirror at all. That's okay. The only thing I wish for the seat settings were if I could adjust them laterally as well, because the way my screen is set up, and I might just not be centered in, despite me doing meticulous measurements. It's just slightly off, and I wish I could just shift it a little bit. Ferrari feels like it has a much quicker, more precise turn in than the Aston or the Corvette. Feels much more darty. Very fast, smooth transmission. Doesn't mind being high in the rev range when you drop it down a gear. Just how I like it. I like to be very aggressive and fast with my shifts, which is, I don't know if it's good or bad. feel very comfortable in this car. Can push very, feel like I can push very easily and quickly. Doesn't feel, um, it doesn't feel as understeery as the Corvette did. Just as I say that, it's got a little bit over ambitious there on
Lap 2, 46.53.
the throttle coming out of the last turn. But like I was saying, the car doesn't feel out of balance at all. I feel like I can push really hard straight from the beginning. It's very precise with the turn-in. It goes where I point it to. Just driving these GT3 cars, I'm just really impressed with the feedback and how I can feel the car so much better than an ACC. You know, I've watched, Gamer Muscle talk about it all the time, but I was never really, I could tell between Assetto Corsa and ACC there was a difference, but I was also using them for different things. I don't race in Assetto Corsa, I just drive street cars on open road. So it's very different purpose, so it's hard to compare. But I could feel after about 3 months of only driving Assetto Corsa, ACC did feel a bit more numb
Time was a
and just not the
2:25.28.
feedback that you would want. And then you jump in here and you're like, whoa. It's almost like a feedback overload, but in a good way. Definitely have a flat spot on the tire. Lots of vibration coming through the wheel. Oh no. Got the double downshift there. I think there's a setting that I can set for downshifts to help keep from doing that, but this will be a decent time though, even with all that. We got track limit, so the time didn't count, but I think it was in the right around 224, so pretty. That's probably the fastest yet. All right, we've got one more car to get through. Let me see if I go in the settings. Let me see if there's a double. There's controls, calibrate. Wipers, traction control, brakes, no primary controls. Clutch, shift up and down. No. Okay, maybe not. I thought there was a space where you could put in like a. Maybe it's in a different section. Like a fraction of a second that would prevent double shifting. So does this have any GT3 cars, or is it all? Oh, it does. Not that it matters, but alright, Porsche. Oh, we can drive Rexy. Alright, I'm not the best 911 driver in the world, so I have a feeling I might be backwards a lot. Was there no dash? Was all the dash stuff on the... All the dash stuff is on the wheel. Seems about as high as we can go. We'll do a few laps in this Porsche, see how we like it. And then I actually want to jump back into the Aston with the lower FFB settings and see if we like it. So this car, the steering actually feels pretty light compared to the rest of them, but the curves are much more pronounced through the steering wheel, so I don't know if that's just a matter of suspension, chassis. The curves just feel like you're hitting speed bumps. Wow. A lot of rotation on throttle lift. A little bit more difficulty controlling this car. Just not quite as confident in what it's going to do. Ooh. I have another flat spot. Yeah, just keep locking up the right fronts. Trying to use less brake pressure, but earlier on the brakes. Try to keep from doing that. Didn't work. Hey, I made it through.
Time 2:25.75.
Oh, this turn just seems so long. Because I have to be off so I don't lock it up.
Time 2:24.80.
Okay, we got ourselves down there. Not too bad. I'm gonna jump back into Aston here, do a couple laps with the lower force feedback and see what happens. And then we'll call it a day. See if we can get down into the 224s here as well. Feels pretty good. You can definitely tell the difference. It feels a lot more understeered than the Porsche does. It still feels very heavy in the steering. It just must be the way the car set up and drives. But it definitely feels much better at 95 on the force feedback versus the 100. I'll probably keep it here. We'll try some. We'll get back into LMP2 next time and maybe some more hypercar trials. See how we like it. And it might just be a per car setting that needs to happen. Oh, I lost it. Probably a good bit to end it on there. All right, well, that was day 2 driving in LeMans Ultimate. Overall, I think the physics are really great. You get tons of feedback through the wheel, and it's very clear where that feedback is coming from. Uh, we made some adjustments to our force feedback. I think those felt really nice. Added a little bit of smoothing to it, which helped define some of those forces coming through the wheel. Our FOV is now set. I think that is better. I think we still have some seating position things to kind of figure out. But overall, we got some laps in. Tried the GT3s out. I think they drive really nicely. I think the Ferrari was my favorite one and was the easiest for me to get up to speed and felt the most comfortable in. But we'll probably do something in all of them here in the future. But okay, overall, a good day, nice day of racing. Um, we'll keep working on it. Next time I'll do a little bit more research and see if we can't figure out the triples so we can get it that kind of figured out because there is some alignment bits going on. While I was driving, I didn't notice so much, but still would like to make them as perfect as possible so we can just keep that realism very high. Um, Today we didn't look at any FPS um, readings based off of the changes we did. We can get into that next time. Um, but overall, pretty good. Enjoying it so far. We'll keep pushing through and trying some stuff out and hope it helps you out and while I have a little bit of fun. So that's it for today and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.